So I ended up getting 8th in the heat race. And I remember being on the start line, I had to ask the two mechanics next to me to put my button in,
Yeah.
like my holster button. And they're like, where's your mechanic? I'm like, dude, I'm just here by myself chilling. So you can work as hard as you want, but I'm never going to be as good as Jet Lawrence. That is a freak. I just...
A gypsy.
Dude, half the time for me, I'm basically just in zombie mode. Like like my program is, I get up at 6. If I'm riding that day, I go down, I hop on the cycle, do my 15 minutes, and then I stretch. And then you to the track, you do your motos, you kind of finish about 1. And then depending on what day it is, like a Tuesday or a Friday or whatever, I'll do an hour on the cycle at low heart rate. And I'm basically just a zombie. Like Wednesdays, I do my gym workout, and that's one thing that I've basically had to cut back on. I only go to the gym sort of once a week to do weights because I physically can't do it anymore. I just basically just do my shoulder rehab with my bands, and then everything now is just trying to keep my body sort of going.
Yeah.
And you see those guys and they're training hard, and that sometimes I think I do too much, but then I kind of have that guilt of, well, shit, they're probably doing something like this. But I just have my program that I've sort of tried to figure out, but sometimes I just have to go, nah, I shouldn't do that, because at the end of the day, you're trying to be a motorbike rider. You're not trying to be a fit person in everything sort of thing. You're just a motorbike rider. So for me, I always make sure I get my yoga done, and then my cycles with my low heart rate. And then if anything has to drop off, it's the other stuff, because as long as I get my ride and then the yoga and that in, that's what sort of keeps me going. But even the riding, sometimes I'll cut back to, if we're racing back-to-back weeks, like this week, I'll only ride once. Just because with the driving, when you think about it, to drive to Denver, that's basically 30 hours of driving in that week. And then to go to Salt Lake will be another sort of 22 in that week. You just get absolutely rooted.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a truckie and a racer.
Yeah. And I got to get Lucy to be able to, my girlfriend, to learn how to drive the van, because she can't, I don't want to blow her out on here, but she's not the best driver. And I haven't quite trusted her yet to be able to drive the van. So she basically just sits in the passenger seat and pokes me when I start to get a little bit tired. But she's been lately, she'll tap out about 1 a.m. and then she'll hop in the back and sleep. And I'll just sort of keep driving and put on a podcast and try and zombie it through the night. But if you don't do that, then the whole week,
you've cooked your week.
Yeah, I had to sort of have only the 2.5 hours of sleep after Denver to get back to be able to prep the bike and that, so that I can ride on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, and then we've got to go on Thursday. So that sort of stuff. I was trying to talk with Mason Kerr on the weekend, because he's been traveling around and doing all the 450 races, and I was kind of like, to some weeks you just not ride, and he's like, yep, we just only ride at the races some weeks, because otherwise, where are you going to ride when you're in Detroit or wherever Supercross is?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sometimes it's just, that's the difference I feel like someone like that has to be in their own race with their own, in their mindset of, well, I'm not competing with the guys that are...
Yeah, we're doing a different sport.
Yeah, it's a completely different sport, but that's what makes Supercross and motocross so interesting, because we are racing at the top level in the world, but also we're just kind of normal people in the back half of the field. Whereas in MotoGP or Formula One or
that doesn't
whatever,
exist.
No, that doesn't exist. And the thing for me is, we, being a privateer, and I'm sure the top guys get messages and that, but they're so top they can just ignore them.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel, when someone messages me from Australia or whatever, I feel bad, and I always accept it, and I'll try and reply and stuff like that. Whereas I feel like those top guys would just have to be so selfish and just be like, fuck it, I'm not. Or they wouldn't even run their social media.
Yeah.
Because you have to draw a line somewhere and distance yourself from it, because they've got a job to do, and you have to be kind of rude sometimes to people.
Yeah. Man, I struggle with that big time, because like I pretty much do the same thing. I accept every message and I try and reply to pretty much everyone. And like lately, I've started deleting Instagram like literally off my phone and just having it on my internet browser. Because like, yeah, even for me to just distance myself from the podcast, even just, and then between that and like, I don't really give I don't give a fuck about YouTube comments, but a YouTube comment is different than like a direct message on Instagram for me. But like, yeah, dude, it can just fully run your life, eh?
Yeah. And even like at the races now, basically Lucy's job is to, if someone does come into the pit tent, because I don't even have a banner or anything, I'm just lucky that Motul gave me a quick shade, and people can just walk in and start talking. And on the weekend I was trying to change a sprocket, and I'm like, dude, I've got 30 minutes to get back to qualifying. I'm sorry, I can't talk. So now Lucy would just talk to him, and everyone's fine with talking to a young chick. So that seems sweet. But like this weekend, I had someone coming into the pit tent and they asked if they could sit on my bike. This probably about a 14-year-old girl came up and asked to sit on the bike, and I didn't want to be rude and say, well, no. So then they took, I'm like, what is going on right now? I'm like trying to work on the bike, and these people are coming up and asking to sit on it. I should have charged them.
Oh, Kevin Moran's does.
No, not Kevin. Oh, does he? Is it?
No, I don't know. I'm just joking.
Pete Piazza.
Oh, really?
Well, he was doing the bike rev. Didn't you see that? He was revving he was marketing genius. He had like a pit board that said $20 to rev my bike.
That's sick.
But then he got shut down because I think he got a bit carried away with it. Yeah. Because it would be pretty annoying to be
fun
next
police,
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in saying that, that's pretty cool to come up with something. Like, no one's thought of that for however long Supercross has been running.
Dude, that's fucking funny.
Because the general fan is so like oblivious to the whole sport that if they were to see I can rev a bike, like, holy shit, that is pretty cool. But have you ever been up in the stands? Let's say for me, if I hadn't made like the main or just going to watch the Supercross, you sit up in the stands and you listen to some of the conversations people have.
Oh, just have no idea.
And they're saying like Tomac's on the KTM, and you have to bite your tongue and go, this dude has no idea. Yeah. But that's the type of fan that 90% of the people at the event that would be.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.